Citi TV is live. On DSTV, go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. Citi TV, it's your world.
Hello and welcome to the Citi Newsroom from our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Chesano. My name is Vivian Kai. Local. Coming up. Minority warns of more infractions in government's COVID-19 related expenditure following Auditor General's report.
The details are there and he has cited the details. So when you add them up, that's what he is getting. But there are other details that has not been captured. And I'm asking questions. Why hasn't those details been captured?
Student leaders of the Krobia Ashanti Technical and Vocational Institute declared wanted following violent disturbances there.
But those who are involved, who are found to be involved, actively involved in the distraction, in the demonstration, definitely the law will deal with them.
Also coming up, the National Disaster Management Organization in the Eastern region threatens to demolish all structures being put up by developers within buffer zones of quarry companies operating in the area. And later, low turnout recorded as the Ghana Health Service begins another mass COVID-19 vaccination exercise.
Well, so far it's been fine, except that there are still areas, pockets of areas that the turnout wasn't that good as we would have expected.
And let's begin the bulletin from the outfit of the Auditor General as he has uncovered infringements in the disbursement of COVID-19 related funds. Now, the Auditor General reports that over 21.8 billion cedis was received for the purpose of government's fight against the coronavirus pandemic, but only over 11 billion cedis was actually used for the COVID-19 fight. Let's get a breakdown of the audit findings as simplified in these infographs prepared by Citi News' research team and supervised by Bernard Avlet. So we start to give you a breakdown of actually what went into the sources of the 21.8 billion cedis we are told. One, the World Bank Group, we're told, funded 9% of that amount, which came up to 1.978 billion cedis. Now that went into health interventions. We also told from the government of Ghana's Contingency Fund, 6% was gotten from there, which translated to 1.203 billion cedis. Now let's see what the IMF gave us. The IMF actually gave us 25% of that 21.8 billion cedis, which translated to 5.568 billion cedis. Now, the African Development Bank, we're also told, gave us some 398 million cedis, which was 2% of the actual COVID-19 fund of the 21.8 billion cedis. Now let me take you to the European Union. We're told they also gave us 3% of the total amount, which translated into 569 million cedis. Also, the Bank of Ghana, through the COVID-19 bonds, also gave some 10 billion cedis, actually one of the largest funds we saw, which translated in as much as 46% of the 21.8 billion cedis. Now, there were other funds that we got from the government of Ghana coming up to 10%, which was 2.127 billion cedis. So, of the 21.8 billion cedis sources for COVID-19 funding, there were 7 places we got that money from. The World Bank Group, the Government of Ghana Contingency Fund, other Government of Ghana funds, the IMF, the African Development Bank, the EU, as well as the Bank of Ghana COVID-19 bonds. Let's bring you some more breakdown. Now, this, we're told, is the total disbursement of how the 21.8 billion cedis was utilized. Now, we're told 54% went to COVID-19 activities, which is actually what the money was supposed to be used for. Unfortunately, the government didn't use all the 21.8 billion cedis for the COVID-19 activities. We're told 46% of the 21.8 billion cedis went into budget support. Now, that translated into 10.1 billion cedis. So what has the government been using for the 46 or the 10.1 billion cedis that we're told he used it for? So, for example, the IMF Rapid Credit Facility, we're told that, okay, let me go to the utilization of the contingency fund, which is the 1.203 billion. Now, we're told allowances were given to frontline health workers. There was supply of food items. There was a free water and electricity, if you all remember that. There was also the support for small and medium-scale businesses affected by COVID-19 pandemic. There was also the purchase of various medical supplies to support the fight against COVID-19. And then, of course, the cost of the mandatory quarantine of Ghanaians stranded abroad. Remember, government was forced to bring hundreds of Ghanaians who at the time were stranded abroad. And then we're also told that other COVID-19 payments were made. So from what was actually used, we're told that's the first part. Now the second part, which was what the World Bank gave us, translating to $430 million, we're told part of it was used for medical equipment. Some others were used for cleaning materials, medicines, consultancy, storage facility for the vaccines, and deployment. Also, there was part of it used for life insurance. We're also seeing that part of it was used for construction, leasing, and renting of treatment and isolation centers, as well as other costs. So the isolation centers we saw across the Greater Accra region, for example, that amount was taken from the World Bank. Now, let me give you more of what was used with regards to the IMF Rapid Credit Facility. We are told it was used for liability management. Now, this obviously didn't go into the COVID-19 activities or fight that it was supposed to have gone. So the rest of the money, where did it go to? Now, the first part we're told, for example, with the IMF's cash, some went to liability management, others went to the District Assembly's Common Fund for the fourth quarter allocation of 2020. Now, the rest went to the NAPCO second quarter allocation. The discussion around NAPCO employment issues, now we see where some of the COVID money went to NAPCO's second quarter allocation for the year 2020. The same year, 2020, the LEAP program, the first allocation came from funds that were supposed to have been used for the COVID-19 fight. And also, the free SHS program pops up here. Now, the free SH program allocation for the second semester of the 2019 and 2020 academic year, we see that the COVID-19 funds went there as well. And of course, free water and electricity as well. Now, let's see what the utilization of the Bank of Ghana's COVID-19 bonds, where it went to. That was 10 billion cedis. Now we're told it also went to popped up around the IMF. Now, we're told for that of the African Development Bank's fund, which was 69 million US dollars, translating into 398 million cedis, it went to the 2020 budget support. 2020 budget support and not into COVID. Do we have any more of the breakdown? Okay. And then the European Union Fund. We're told that amount of money, which is about 84 million euros, went into salaries, goods and services, and capital expenditure, and did not go into COVID-19 fund. So the money the EU gave us translated into about 84 million euros, coming up to 569 million cedis. It went into salaries, of course, of public sector workers, goods and services used by public sector workers, and of course, capital expenditure. Now let's see what that of the IMF, what it was used for. The one that IMF gave us, which was some 5.5 billion cedis. Capitalization of the National Development Bank of Ghana. The finance minister announced that that bank was being set up to help deal with some of the issues around the economy. Now, the COVID-19 funds that came from the IMF went into that bank and getting that bank to get its capital. Now, it was also used to audit COVID-19 transactions for the period March 2020 to June 2020. And also, that same amount of money was used for the construction of 88 district hospitals and 7 regional hospitals. Remember, the Agenda 111. Now, this is where that money was going to be taken from. The Agenda 111, we've not seen the hospitals yet, but we're told that it was used for the construction of 88 district hospitals and 7 regional hospitals under the Agenda 111. Now, another big thing that we saw last year was the Ghana cards. Everybody needed to get the Ghana cards for them to register their SIM cards. Now, we're told some amount of money from the IMF Rapid Credit Facility went into the issuance of the Ghana cards and also into the Ghana card mop-up exercise, as well as other expenses. So we can see where the COVID-19 facility was being, where they were channeled towards. Now, do we have some more? Right. So that gives you an idea of how the money from the COVID-19 expended funds were, what they were used for. Remember, the Auditor General has released a report stating into detail what the money was used for at the time. But we're not ending with this discussion yet. Let me take you to Parliament, because the minority there says there are more infractions yet to be covered as far as government's COVID-19 related expenditure is concerned. Now, Hansen Hajiman has been looking at that. Hansen.
The audit captured the total revenue received by the government of Ghana in its fight against coronavirus pandemic and how the monies were expended between the period of 2020, 2021 and 2022. The Auditor General Fund, African Development Bank, the European Union, and the sale of BOG COVID-19 bonds. The Auditor General noted that over 21.8 billion Ghana cedis was received through these sources by the minority in Parliament, who have been raising concerns about the use of COVID-19 funds, believe there's more money yet to be accounted for.
We have other sources. Germany came to our aid. Germany, gave us not less than 400 million. Korea gave us not less than 600 million euros. I haven't seen these figure stated anywhere. If I look at the details I have and the ones he's excluding, I think that it's even beyond that. It's more than that. Okay? Because if you look, the details are there and he has cited the details. So when you add them up, that's what he is getting. But there are other details that has not been captured. And I'm asking questions. Why hasn't those details been captured? That is just the first one.
Out of the over 21.8 billion Ghana cedis, over 11.7 billion was used directly for COVID-19 related activities, while the rest was used for budgetary support. According to the report, some of the budgetary supports included payments to the District Assembly Common Fund, NAPCO second quarter allocation, free SHS allocation, and capitalization of National Development Bank. But the minority believes this amount to misapplication of funds.
We are using the COVID money, something that we have gone for, to be used for a particular purpose, to pay statutory funds. I mean, you clearly see that this government sets out to misapply, to squander the COVID-19 money. Clearly.
The audit, amongst other things, uncovered payments for COVID-19 vaccines which were not delivered. According to the Auditor General, out of over $120 million paid for the supply of vaccines, only vaccines valued to the tune of $38 million were supplied to the government of Ghana. The Auditor General has thus directed the Ministry of Health to take steps to ensure the vaccines are supplied. But this won't be the first time the government of Ghana will be having issues with the non-delivery of vaccines. In 2020, payments for Sputnik V vaccines became a matter of parliamentary probe, as the supplier at the time had not made the supplies as contracted. At the time, the Minister of Health was on record to have noted that the exigencies with the COVID-19 situation accounted for some of the contractual challenges. In this instance, however, the ministry says unexpected vaccine donations into the country, coupled with limited vaccine storage capacity and the slow uptake by Ghanaians to be vaccinated, made it impossible to receive the vaccines that had been paid for. But the minority in Parliament says the explanation is untenable.
So if there's apathy and you have enough vaccines, why do you go in to buy another dose for distribution? You know you have apathy, and then you have enough stock that has even not been exhausted. Then you
don't have enough to capture the whole population. Is your aim to whip up interest?
A reasonable manager that you know that the thing has, a short lifespan, and you have some available. Okay, even if you don't have enough, you exhaust what you have before you go for more.
The Auditor General also uncovered vaccines which have been left to expire. The Ghana Health Service has been responding to that aspect of the report.
And you have a vial that contains 20 doses, and you open and you have only 10 patients, you cannot use the next dose the following day. So that's a waste. But we're also not going to say, I'm not going to give you because there are only 5 of you. Wastage is accepted, but there's a limit. We also had a peculiar issue of where we are getting vaccines that have about 3, 4, sometimes 2 months to expire, especially part of the donation. So we do a lot of run around to make sure that we deploy them before they expire.
The Auditor General also revealed that government has not received delivery of some 26 Toyota Haze ambulances, for which some payments have already been made. The Auditor General revealed that the government also paid an additional 20 million Ghana cedis for a 15 million Ghana cedis building that had been purchased for the purpose of being used as holding and isolation center in Adaklu. With these revelations, what becomes of the committee set up by Parliament to probe COVID-19 related expenditure?
The committee that Mr. Speaker put together will start sitting as soon as possible. And if you care to know, within the first week of February, to be specific, on the 6th of February, we'll start sitting.
Following the revelations from the Auditor General, the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament is expected to look into the details of it. Also, the Special Committee expenditure is also expected to probe the matter. Reporting for Citi News, Hansen Ajeman.
Let's move away from COVID-19 related matters. And the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah has said student leaders of the Krobia Ashanti Technical and Vocational Institute must be held responsible for violent disturbances in the school. He has asked the police to declare the student leaders wanted after students on Sunday went on a rampage and destroyed public and private properties. Citi News' Ashanti Regional Correspondent has more.
The distraction caused by students during Sunday's protest remains visible at the Krobia Ashanti Technical and Vocational Institute. The incident has left teachers traumatized. The principal of the school, Evans Douglas Salvo, who was nearly attacked during the protest, narrated what happened.
Around 8 minutes after 12 midnight on Saturday. In fact, all I saw that first the students were making noise. I asked two of my housemasters to find out what was really happened. They told, when they went there, they told them that there was nothing at stake. So they asked them to go and sleep. They went inside. Not quite some long time, just 8 minutes later. All what I heard, Yenabre call in G. With the war songs, and then I saw that they have just surrounded my residence, and then in fact they forced their way to get me out of it. So I also quickly called the police.
Authorities of the Ghana Education Service in the Setre East District are already taking some steps to unravel the cause of the protest.
Even as the district, we have to set up a committee. Yes, so we have done that. Definitely the police they are also, I'm coming from the police station and it seems as if some names have come up. Definitely it's not something that's beyond all of us. Okay, so we also trust them, they'll do their work, we also do our work.
Police are questioning 40 students who were arrested in connection with the disturbance. Minister Simon Osei-Mensah disclosed that the students will be levied to cover the damage caused.
Depending on the condition of the vehicle, they will be valued and they will pay for them. We don't have money to go and buy pickers. You see, the Isuzu pickup was purchased in 2020 in the midst of the COVID. You understand it? When all of us were suffering, and then the government squeeze out funds to buy pickers for all institutions, and then you come to destroy it. They have to pay for them. Whatever they've destroyed, they have to pay for. I believe in being fair. Being fair doesn't mean what people talk about, like put human face.
He added that a 5-member committee will also be set up to investigate the matter.
Their fate will be determined by investigations being conducted by the police. They will screen them. Those who will be found culpable, the law will deal with them. Those maybe whose involvement is insignificant, or maybe they were not involved, those people definitely, they can still keep them. But those who are involved, who are found to be involved, actively involved in the distraction, in the demonstration, definitely the law will deal with them. Now I've directed that the leadership of the school, or the prefects of the school, if they don't surrender, they should declare them wanted. They are the leaders. So what shows that they were not involved? And if they were not involved, what did they do?
The students during the protest wrote on the walls of the buildings calling for the principal and the senior housemaster to be sacked. The principal responded to the calls by the students.
In fact, as I'm standing here, I don't know exactly. I never knew any, we have not sat down on any grievances or something of that sort. So as I'm speaking, I don't know until the speculations that I'm hearing that they said that they don't pass the exams or something of that sort. Maybe the police will tell me exactly what's happening.
Police are continuing their investigations and will soon arraign the suspects. The distraction caused during the protest is widespread, as key facilities in this school have tasted the anger of the rampaging students. But for the Ashanti Regional Security Council, one thing remains clear. The students must pay for their actions. Hafiz Tijani, Citi News, Krobia Ashanti Technical and Vocational Institute, Ashanti Region.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. When we come back, National Disaster Management Organization in the Eastern Region threatens to demolish all structures being put up by developers within buffer zones of quarry companies operating in the area. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Anyone can become a house owner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You Go Flip, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand a chance of winning a house or cash or consolidated prizes, such as savings towards a house. Simple and easy to play. Visit www.yougoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anyone can win. Flip it or own it. You Go Flip. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
Every child is so unique. You like no other. Outstanding in every way.
It's me like no other.
So anytime you walk and play,
you like no other.
You are special like Indomie.
It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other. I can play the drums. I'm talented. It's me like no other. I can sing. I can dance. You like no other.
As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook. I can paint. You like no other. Indomie. You like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie.
Thank you, Mommy.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Buy now.
This effort is FDA approved.
With a population of over 1.4 billion people, a vast wealth of natural resources and brilliant minds, welcome to Africa. The Africa Prosperity Network, under the auspices of the President of the Republic of Ghana and the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, presents the Africa Prosperity Dialogues, dubbed the Quo Summit, a gathering of generational thinkers, a unique conference of Africa's political and business leaders and major social actors on building the world's largest single market. From the 26th to the 28th of January 2023, register at africaprosperitynetwork.com.
And you're welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. Now, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, in the Eastern Region has threatened to demolish all structures being put up by developers within buffer zones of quarry companies operating in the area. Now, according to NADMO, the continuous encroachment and stay in the operational areas of these companies do not only pose a threat to the lives of the encroachers, but the government as well, as the state will have to cough up huge sums of money to cater for medical expenses in the unlikely incident of a blast within the buffer zones of the quarry companies. Let's bring you some Galamsey-related stories. Now, some Ahanta chiefs from the Upper Discov Traditional Council in the Ahanta West Municipality of the Western Region are demanding prosecution and a punishment that will serve as a deterrent for an alleged Galamsey kingpin they arrested at Ahanta, Banso, and handed over to the Agona and Kwanta police. Now, the chiefs spoke to Citi News at the Agona and Kwanta police station after they handed over the excavator the alleged Galamsey was caught devastating their plot of land with. Citi News' Akwese J. has more.
Since the destructive Galamsey gained national attention, prompting a nationwide fight against the menace, several stakeholders, including politicians, civil servants, and traditional authorities, have all been implicated as entities contributing to the never-ending illegal gold mining business that has devastated the forest and polluted river bodies. This led to calls for traditional authorities to come clean by helping to fight against the devastation by Galamseyers. It is in response to this call that the Upper Discov Traditional Council last Saturday led their Asafu team, arrested and handed over to the Agona Kwanta police an alleged Galamsey kingpin who has been engaging in illegal mining activities with impunity for the past 5 months and in connivance with some persons. Speaking to Citi News at the Agona Kwanta police station on Monday, after helping to hand over the excavator the alleged Galamsey was caught using for his operations, the chiefs called for an end to all illegal mining in the area, punishment for the alleged illegal miner and his accomplices.
This case should go to court and should be example for Ahanta, those around over here, to stop that Galamsey they were doing. This is what we can do. That Galamsey should be stopped for the immediate effect.
Galamsey digging is not on part of that Discov traditional area. So you heard it from there that some people were bringing these excavators and others to our land. You should mount a search on that, but you were not able to catch anybody until yesterday. 2 days ago that you caught one, and it is brought to this police station. We feel very disturbed. We feel very disturbed on this land because the land can be used for other different purposes, but not for this purpose. As excavator is digging out this land for useless things, for against some people, very few people to get access to this and make use of it. So we are very sorry this thing is happening around.
Meanwhile, the district police commander of the Ahanta West Municipality, Superintendent Joseph Apasu, who received the chiefs with the confiscated excavator at the Agona Kwanta police station, told Citi News he is unable to speak on the charges against the alleged Galamsey, but will be decided by the Attorney General.
Now, the Ghana Health Service began another mass vaccination exercise of COVID-19 on the 20th of January 2023. Now, Citi News' Eno Safo went around today and she's brought details for us. Eno, what can you tell us?
The Ghana Health Service launched the 6th National Vaccination Campaign from the 20th of January to the 24th of January 2023. Now, these vaccination campaigns are meant to create awareness of COVID-19 and as well as give people the opportunity to get vaccinated. Today, we're going across various hospitals in the region to find out how the vaccination has been going on. We're here at the Adabraka Polyclinic here in Accra, and we're at the vaccination center. We're going to speak to a couple of people who have come to get vaccinated. Not a lot of people get their second or even third jabs. What motivated you to come for the third?
I think that we see indications all around that COVID is real. We hear reports about how many people are getting infected, and we actually see people passing away because of COVID infection. So it's only wise that if there's a vaccine that can protect you, you get it.
Based on the advice we receive from our health providers, once they are advising us on ways to stay healthy and then also stay away from the COVID infection, I think it's just good to come for the vaccine. It protects me as well as protects others.
There are still others who are still hesitant about taking the vaccine.
Because I'm not ready for it yet. I know the time will come for me to take mine, but not yet. I just don't know. I just don't feel like taking it now. To me, I'm not ready yet, but someone may be ready. So everyone should take his or her vaccine because it's very important.
As the district control officer here, how has the turnout been for these couple of days that the vaccination campaign started?
I think this time is better than the first. It's very better because we are getting people are getting information from Ghana Health Service asking them to come for their jab. So you realize that the number that is coming out compared to the subsequent ones, this time around, it is better than first.
The manager for the expanded program on immunization at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kwame Amponsachiano, tells Citi News that there has been a low turnout this time round.
Well, so far it's been fine, except that there are still pockets of areas that the turnout wasn't that good as we would have expected. But all in all, I think day by day, the coverage is improving. We have a common platform where we report data, so we still are talking to them to update.
The National COVID-19 Vaccination Campaign ends on the 24th of January 2023. Now, although some places have recorded maximum turnouts, others have recorded very low turnouts. For Citi News, my name is Enu Safo.
We still stay with the turnout for the vaccination exercise for the COVID-19 campaign. And let's take you to the Ashanti region and see how it's been so far. Edward Opon-Mafo has more.
Despite continuous education on the need for Ghanaians to take their COVID-19 jabs to build resilience against the virus, many people still do not see the need to do so. For instance, Ubeida Mohammed, a resident of Kumasi, tells Citi News she's now visiting the Mensha District Hospital to take her very first jab just because she needs it to enable her travel outside the country.
I'm very busy. That's why I couldn't come to do it. But now I decided to come and do it because I want it for something. Just for something. That's why I came. Maybe for traveling. Yeah, that's why I decided to come for the vaccination.
So if not because you're traveling, you didn't see the need?
No, I didn't see any need of coming to do the vaccination. Yeah, sure. I just want to travel, that's why I came to do it.
And it's a requirement for you to do?
Yeah, it's a requirement. That's why I came.
With many people holding similar views, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, insists, despite having few cases now and with no critical cases, there was a need for all to be fully vaccinated to attain herd immunity.
Well, the virus is still around. If you follow the global news, you see that some countries are having very high increases in Europe, especially where the cold weather is in. So, and we have also, there was a time we had just one case, no active case was one. But there was a time in this period that we got about 20 something and we dropped down again. So It changes with time, but it's not gone. What you have noticed is that because of the low risk perception, people feel that it is you who is at risk, but not me. And there's hesitancy, but also the risk that people are not because they are afraid that it will kill them or not. What we know is that people feel that they are not at risk because somebody is in a village, I've never seen one before. And so we are working very hard, and that's why we are creating more access by bringing the vaccine as close to the people as possible so that this hesitancy will go down, and then because it's there, okay, let me take it, and it seems to be doing well.
The Director General of the Ghana Health Service also stressed that the vaccines being given out are of good quality, and cards issued after taking the jabs can be verified in every part of the world.
It is very, very credible. The whole world is using the same vaccine. We don't have a special Ghana vaccine. We are giving the dosage as it's supposed to be given. If you need to verify, we don't do verification for all. If you are going to a place where you need verification, we have places where you can make a request and your card will be made verifiable.
Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji made these statements when he visited some health facilities in the Ashanti region to monitor COVID-19 vaccination exercises being done. The Ghana Health Service says, at the moment, there are 11 active cases. The Ghana Health Service warns members of the general public to take the vaccination exercise seriously to curtail the spread of the virus. For Citi News, I'm Edward Oponmafo, Menchia District Hospital, Kumasi.
You're still watching Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. When we come back, Minority says assertions by the government that the gold for oil deal would reduce fuel prices are untrue. To stay with us, we'll be right back with our story and others.
Is the neighborhood I'm having my twins.
The very reason why I took it for us. See, the price is very good and it's spacious to contain all of us.
Alphabet City. Now I'm a landlord. I don't pay rent. And my Airbnb business is booming.
To me, bank and I'm say Alphabet City. The pension pay me 20%. The payment plan, I want to share.
Talent. So every day, in whatever you
know I'm special and for making me my
brilliant mind of the Republic of Ghana.
A healthy and confident smile, so she can succeed and achieve all of her dreams. Because every smile matters.
And you're welcome back to the City Newsroom. Now, the minority in Parliament says assertions by the government that the gold for oil deal would reduce fuel prices are untrue. Addressing the media, the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, John Jinapor, says the transaction is a deception that only aims at depleting the country's gold reserve. City News' Ayiko Kind reports.
The government took delivery of 40,000 metric tons of the first consignment of the gold for oil deal on January 15, 2023, with the expectation of reducing the pressure on forex and also present the country with cheaper fuel. But, speaking to journalists, the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, John Jinapor, says the transaction would rather worsen the situation.
This gold for oil deal will lead to fuel price reduction. Fuel prices are going up. In fact, the information I have, and these are credible information, is that the oil they bought was bought at a premium and not at a discount. So this narrative that they are going to get some cheap oil somewhere is not true. Let me state that there is nothing like cheap oil when it comes to international oil trading. On the contrary, this deal is leading to a premium in terms of the pricing. So the notion that oil prices will go down is untrue. The other hand is that the diesel covers only 25% of our diesel requirement. And so that is not even enough to change the price. But more importantly, Bost has proven to be an inefficient company, even as we speak. We want to ask Bost, how did they select those BDCs? What was the criteria? What are the terms? And how did PMMC even raise money to buy the gold that they claim they are buying? Is it a loan from the Bank of Ghana? Is it a loan from the commercial banks? Is it equity from government to PMMC? This whole deal is shrouded with a high level of opacity. And they are doing it in a very, very clandestine manner. It's not transparent, and some few people are managing this in their pockets.
The group urged the government to halt the deal for further stakeholder negotiations.
Clearly, it doesn't add up. Clearly, this is an attempt to create a further burden for the ordinary taxpayer. We recall that this same vice president told us he was doing a bauxite butter with Sinohydro. As we speak, the IMF has insisted and government has agreed that indeed that so-called butter was nothing but a loan agreement. And that has been captured as part of our national accounting system. And it's a debt as we speak. And so when this same Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, come telling you that he's now going to do gold, having failed to deliver on his butter promise with bauxite, I can't say that quarter of amount to my Bisanidine clearly fits in. And so we are calling on government to halt this so-called gold for oil butter and consult further.
Some other stories, and some aggrieved customers of GT Bank are threatening to stage a demonstration as well as initiate illegal action against the financial institution for freezing their accounts. Now, scores of affected customers masked up at the head office of the financial institute at the Ridge Roundabout on Monday, demanding the bank to rectify the matter. Now, speaking to City News, the affected customers said the freeze on their accounts is negatively affecting them. They want GT Bank to reverse the freeze as they insist they did not breach any transaction laws.
According to some of the affected customers who spoke to City News, all transactions they made on Binance, a crypto trading platform, and others were made in Ghana cedis. The affected customers who turned up at the head office of GT Bank looking frustrated insisted that the account thus should not have been debited and frozen. Convener of the affected customers, Sina Tijani, narrated to City News their concerns.
Okay, so this afternoon we are gathered here to see the management of GT Bank. We are a group of people who did a couple of transactions with our Visa cards given by the bank. and the bank has charged us certain fees that we don't think is right. So we are here to see the bank and to seek redress. Currently, what we have is, in our bank's transactions, we see the bank has charged us for FX adjustment, which we don't think is right. So our engagement is we have gathered proof from the merchants and the acquirers that we engage our transactions with, and they have told us that is not the case. So we are here with our proofs to tell the bank that the transactions we did was not in a foreign currency, it was in a local currency.
The customers say this is having a negative toll on their lives as they are unable to pay rent and school fees.
Honestly, I've been out of job for years. This is what I do for a living, okay? So my home is going down. My kids can no longer go to school because there is no money to pay their fees. My rent is due. There is no money to renew my rent. So this is truly affecting me. I'm going slim day in and out because I don't have much money on me.
After waiting on management to attend to them, the aggrieved customers were ushered into a crunch meeting with the bank officials where their concerns were heard and addressed. Some of them were not happy with the outcome of the meeting, and they spoke to Citi News.
Now we are trying to be civil citizens of this country, model citizens. Now, that's exactly what we are trying to do. So we had a communication today. Now, if it goes beyond that, then probably there needs to be a demonstration too. I mean, pour out our grievances because it's been days now and our money is with them. Some are back, they need money to pay their rent. Some are in school, they are behind their pay and everything. And it's really, really bad. It's affecting all of us. So if they fail to communicate as gentlemen like they did today, and it takes more than 24 to 48 hours, then probably we need to demonstrate something with our action.
We are law-abiding citizens. We'll wait for a communication between ourselves and their corporate body and Binance. From there, if we do not get proper solution, then we'll embark on demonstration. Maybe after the demonstration, we'll go to Bank of Ghana and Visa. If the matter isn't resolved, then we'll head on to court.
However, management of GT Bank, in a statement issued on Monday, assured the customers that they will work in collaboration with the affected customers to get their issues resolved by close of week. The bank said the account debits were FX differential between the unapproved FX rates applied on the crypto trading platforms and standard FX rates applicable to all other valid transactions advised by the bank. It says they remain committed to work under the laws in the financial industry and will not unduly cause its customers dissatisfaction.
And before we go, government has reached a deal with banks under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. This is part of a raft of changes made to the program for the participation of banks in the Domestic Debt Exchange Program, that's the DDEP. A statement issued by the Finance Ministry notes that this agreement encompasses final improvements to the terms of the program, namely an agreement to pass 5% coupon, to pay actually 5% coupon for the 2023 and a single coupon rate for each of the 12 new bonds, resulting in an effective coupon rate of 9%. The statement further noted that the Ghana Association of Bankers recognizes the progress made and notes that participation of its member banks in the exchange per the new terms is subject to each individual bank's internal governance and approval processes, but in any case not later than January 30, 2023. Well, that's it for today's edition of the Citi Newsroom. Our website, citinewsroom.com, has more information on our top stories and more. Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Citi TV. You can also watch Citi TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. My name is Vivian Kai Local. Many thanks for joining us.